It's update time, everybody. What's going on? Your Dark Avenger Chris here. And like I promised you guys, I have an update for the Sea of Thieves beta. The final beta dropped this past weekend and it added some new stuff. So new stuff to talk about and share my thoughts as well as Brant. We do have Brant coming back with another clip of his thoughts of the new stuff. But anyway, we got new stuff dropped for the final beta. For the final beta, we got the merchants added. And we got the skeleton forts added to, of course, the gold hoarders. And the shops had new merchandise to show off in the form of course, different skins. And I gotta say, I fell in love specifically with one skin. It might actually take precedent over the Admiral clothes I was getting the first 3 weeks during the beta. This last week, I actually got that new set they were showcasing. I really like that one. But anyway, also, speaking of shops, the shipyard actually came in to stock during this final beta as well. Except you really couldn't buy anything, and if you did, it didn't apply to your ship because I guess because it's a beta, you don't have a set ship yet, so they're randomly generated ships. So even though you bought a figurehead or sails or whatever, because they're randomly generating anyway, it kind of didn't matter because you were getting all those different things anyway. I guess it was just there to show you what was going to be on sale at launch and how much it was going to cost. And let me tell you something, that shipyard is very, very, very expensive. I think we're going to have to deal with clothes and weapon skins first, and then we'll deal with the ship stuff. Okay. But anyway, it was a blast. All the new added stuff really added to the game, and there's still more to be added. We'll talk about that at the end. Let's talk about the new stuff first. Now, let's start with the new guild that opened up, the Merchants. Now, I didn't exactly have as much fun with the Merchants as I did with the Gold Hoarders, but I'm going to explain why I feel like that'll change once the full game comes out. Let me just give you guys a lowdown on what the Merchants are. And if you saw any videos, you know, the Merchants are the cargo. You know, you get these missions where you have to pick up some livestock, chickens, pigs, snakes, or gunpowder, and then you got to bring it to a specific outpost. Now, the one difference between the merchant missions and the gold hoarder missions are you have a time limit. There is a specific day and time you must complete the mission on, or the mission's abandoned. And again, it's one of those things where, you know what, when you're ready to do a merchant mission, you literally set it down, vote on it, get the cages, and just go. You literally make that what you're doing in the moment. You don't do like with the gold hoarders where we would set down a mission, we'd be like, yeah, but we're going to go explore here, here, and here first. With the merchants, when you accept or vote on doing one of their missions, you just want to end up doing that first, getting it out of the way so you don't have to worry. Again, I think it shows a lot of the different demographics between the guilds that we're going to be getting. Like the gold hoarders don't care, take your time, do whatever you want. The merchants are like, listen, strict time. And we didn't even get to see the third one yet. I'll talk about that at the end, like I said. But we didn't level up as high as we wanted to. I think we only went up 2 levels reputation-wise with the merchants. And the missions were very pick up 2 chickens, pick up 2 pigs, specific types of chickens, specific type of pigs. And we just weren't into it as much. I think it's a lot because we still enjoy doing the gold hoarder missions, and the addition of the skeleton forts definitely made us want to focus on that a little bit more. The reason why I say that'll change when the full game comes out is because we're going to have all the guilds. We'll be able to do it at our own speed. You know, it's going to be one of those things where we don't have to worry about the weekend ending and then the beta ending or the game ending. We'll have the game. Once the game's out forever. And I feel like because we had such a very small time limit to play all the new stuff, that's why we kind of focused on the skeleton forts, and we still wanted to play more gold hoarder and just kind of ship around for a bit. And that's why the merchants kind of took a back seat with this final beta. Not saying it's bad or anything. We did have a lot of fun doing the merchant missions, and I'm sure once the full game comes out, we're going to be giving each and every guild equal attention, because we're going to want to level up in all the guilds. If not at the same pace, we're going to want to at least have the guilds not so far off, like level 30 for one and level 1 for another. And we didn't get so high with the merchants that we didn't really have. All we always had was pick up 2 chickens or 2 pigs of different colors. And it's like, then a skeleton fort would pop up and we'd want to do that. Or we'd find a message in a bottle. Or, you know, we'd have somebody had a gold hoarder mission and we wanted to do that more. It's not bad. It's just we had a very limited time to play, and we wanted to do the stuff we've enjoyed. We did test out the merchants. We know we enjoyed it. Again, getting to a higher level, making it more... I think getting to a higher level would make merchant more fun to do. Not saying it's not fun at the beginning, but again, it's just like the gold hoarders in the beginning. You get 1x, you go to one map, and it's like, come on, I want more. That's what the merchants are. You want more, but again, you have to earn it. You have to level yourself up. You got to do the small stuff first before you can do the big stuff. Merchants was fun, but what stole this week's beta for me was the skeleton forts. This was so much fun. The first time we went to a skeleton fort, I knew we had to live through waves, but we didn't know how many waves. We didn't know if we were doing it right. We had no clue what we were doing. So in the end, we kind of, I don't think we abandoned it. We got, some ship came up and took our ship, blew it up, sank it, and we ended up spawning all the way on the other side of the map. And we were like, we give up because it happened twice and we were getting annoyed. But the second time we found a skeleton fort, we did it. We lasted. It's 10 waves of enemies, and then you get the captain. Then you open up the door, and either it's a glitch or certain forts don't have treasure, because the first two forts we went to had no treasure. Beat the captains, no treasure. Everybody's saying it was a glitch. Everybody's saying it's because it was the beta. The third fort we went to did have 2 treasure chests, so I guess I'm led to believe that some forts did and some forts didn't. But anyway, they were so much fun. And then there was one time we were doing one fort. I'm actually thinking about making a video clip of this, this whole fort fight. And it was me, Roll, Firestorm, and Ryan. And we were literally fighting skeletons. We fought off 2 galleons, 2 sloops. One sloop just turned around and gave up. But one sloop we actually took down. We won, we got the treasure, and it was that feeling of accomplishment. But then there was another time where it was just me and Roll, and I went to help this other sloop that came in. I was saying we'll team up. I helped them park, I got them all situated, and then they turned on me. Point blank turned on me. And then when I started going after them because they turned on me, they're like, stop your shenanigans, and they left. But it's just the fact that the forts are going to be like the game. You go in and you could do the whole fort by yourself. Win, get the captain, get the key, open the door. And then another ship will pop up out of nowhere that was hiding, watching, waiting. And that happened actually to me and Brant. Brant and I actually did a fort by ourselves one night. I believe it's up on Frontline Gaming Zone already. And we got the chests. The chests got on the ship. And then we found out there were little trinkets that we could collect too. We started doing the trinkets. And a galleon showed up. And a guy tried to steal our chest. He was on our boat. We killed him. And we got away with the chest. But we didn't get the trinkets. He did. And that kind of was a little upsetting. And again, I believe with the forts, the more teammates you have, the better. I absolutely would not recommend doing a skeleton fort solo. However, you're going to have those people that are like, I'm manly and I'm going to do it. And some people actually will do it solo. And God bless them. But for me, for now, for the beginning of the game, I think I'll be doing those at least in teams of 2 to 4. I'm not going to be doing it in teams of 1 or solo. That's for sure. But it's so much fun. The tension of, is another ship going to, ride up while we're fighting this? Because it's a big skull in the sky. Everyone on the map can see it. You can't miss the skull in the sky. So the stress of, is a ship going to show up and gank our treasure? Is a ship going to show up in the middle of the battle? The battle, you will die a fair amount of times in the beginning. We were dying left and right. What wave are we on? The captain, situating, dealing with, protecting the boat, because while you're fighting the captain, there are towers in the water shooting at your boat. So if you don't park or put your boat in a specific place where the towers can't hit you, you got to deal with the towers too. So keeping the boat managed, keeping track of the waves of skeletons coming out, then the captain coming out, dealing with the captain. It's a stressful, fun experience, and I think that's why whenever we saw a skull in the sky, the first thing we decided to do was we're going for that skull. We're going for the skeleton fort first. Now, we did check because the treasure was under the forts. We did look under the fort through the boards to see if there was treasure. If there was no treasure, we abandoned. We didn't want to stick around for no treasure. If there was no treasure chest there, the fort wasn't worth it. One time, I think Roll and I, we decided to do it. I think it was our last voyage, as a matter of fact. That's why. And we ended up getting a little trinket. So there were trinkets if there weren't chests. But still, it was the most fun. And I think that's why, again, we didn't spend so much time with the merchants. Because we would jump into a server. And the first thing we saw when we jumped into a server was a skeleton fort. up, and we wanted to do it. We're like, we got to go to that skeleton fort first. We'll do that, then we'll do gold hoarder, then we'll do merchants, and it takes a while. It is a fair amount of time. When we first started doing the skeleton forts, it was taking us a good 45 to 50 minutes to clear out a fort. By the end, it was taking us about 30 to 40 minutes to clear out a fort because we started making up a method to how we would deal with the skeletons. But man, the skeleton fort was the most fun. And I loved it, and I'm excited. I'm really looking forward. I've got a countdown going on Instagram, which is sharing also on Twitter and Facebook. I'm only sharing it for the 7th day. I think I'll do maybe the 5th or 3rd day, and then I'll do the final, 0 days left. But, oh, guys, this beta, and it was open. Anyone could have played. Between the skeleton fort, the merchant, we had gold hoarder, new stuff. This was an absolute blast. It added to the game, and we still did not see, by the way, they did not open the Soul Guild. So we still have no clue about that 3rd guild yet. And there's so much more still going on. There's still more messages in a bottle. There's still bounties through the messages in a bottle, which we didn't have in this final beta or any of the betas since the first one. And I'm excited. I'm truly, honestly excited for the extra content, for all the customization we'll be able to do finally, because we couldn't do customization during the beta. So I'm excited to get that customization started. The 3rd guild, I'm excited to see that. The Kraken, I mean, even in their teaser that they dropped today, which is Wednesday, they didn't even show the Kraken at all. They didn't even mention the Kraken. We've got the mermaids that are going to be a problem. The sirens that might be a problem. We don't even know what else they're thinking of adding. And they're also promising tons of DLC and stuff for this game. If you haven't pre-ordered Sea of Thieves, this final beta, of course, gets a 5 out of 5 from me. It didn't take away from the game. It just kept adding to it. I loved it. And before we go, I want to move over to Brant to see what Brant thought about the final beta. So everybody, let's go hear what Brant thought about the final beta.
So the Sea of Thieves final beta was last weekend, and I had a blast. I didn't get to play it as much as I had hoped, but what parts I did get to play, or what portion of the actual event I got to play, I really enjoyed. You guys know that I really enjoyed the beta before that. But this final beta, they added a couple of things, and I'm sure Chris has talked about them already. But the skeleton forts, and of course, the trading where you could go catch animals and things like that, and it was pretty cool. It gave it a little bit more meat to it, where you're not just selling around searching for treasure chests. You're actually going on different kinds of missions. You're having to hunt down certain colors of chickens and spotted pigs and things like that. So it was pretty cool doing that. But the skeleton forts were really neat, because you're sitting there in the water, and then all of a sudden the skull pops up in the sky, and you're like, okay, it's time to go battle, and you have to load up on supplies and ammo and get the right weapons and go there and go through all these different waves of skeletons coming at you. And that's pretty cool. That was pretty fun. I think it adds to the whole experience. It's not just sailing around, hoping you bump into a ship maybe to get a little action, to give a little variety to your game. Now they've added these things in there. And now, once the full game is out there, they're adding a few more things. But this final beta, I appreciated that they added a little bit more, because I know in that last beta we were all wanting a little bit more, because they had like 2 betas before that, and I didn't get to play those 2, but I know from Chris and others that it was basically the same thing as the final. I mean, as the one that I played, the one right before the final beta. So by that point, it was getting old hat. Is this all we're going to do, is sell around and dig up treasure chests? But thankfully, they are adding more stuff, and we knew that was coming in the final game too, but getting a chance to actually play it through and see how it's going to work and mechanics and everything, it was really fun. And it adds a new element of when you're fighting the skeleton forts, of protecting your ship, because in our case, we were fighting a skeleton fort and somebody came and boarded our ship, and we had to split our crew, where 2 had to stay and fight the skeleton forts, and 2 of us had to stay on the boat and try to defend the boat. And it really makes it a lot more difficult. But that's good, because if it's too easy, if it's going to get boring, you're going to get tired of it. I like that there's a little bit of an added sense of danger, a little bit added sense of adventure to it. So, as I think, as long as they keep adding and keep updating and keep, improving the game, that it's going to be a very rewarding experience as time goes forward. And like, if you gain the legendary status, you're going to be able to unlock better missions, harder missions, and things like that. And I think that's really cool. I want that. I want more out of the gameplay than just selling around and digging up chests. And I think in the final beta, they gave us a little taste of that. So I'm happy with that.
And there you have Brant's side, and I have to agree with Brant. If they keep updating and adding more stuff to the game is going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to keep people coming back for more. The Skeleton Forts by far took the final beta weekend, though, as everyone is talking about them, including myself and Brant. Like I said, 5 out of 5. This game, if anything, it gave us more instead of taking more away, and I'm super excited. The countdown is now 6 days until Sea of Thieves is released. Guys, if you haven't pre-ordered that game yet, I hope you really do. If not, go check out the gameplay over on Frontline Gaming Zone. I am thinking about taking that one fort battle where we were fighting off the galleons and the skeletons and making that its own little clip. I'm thinking about it. We'll see if that happens, but 5 out of 5, Sea of Thieves beta, final week, awesome stuff. Cannot wait to get my hands on the game. Look forward to a full game review in about a month, because I want to actually play the game. I want to experience it. I want to do all I can do in the game, see how far I can get in a month, and then we'll revisit the review, and we'll talk about everything in the game instead of just what we've seen in the beta. So thank you all so much for being here. As always, take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and I will see you guys really soon in the next video.